Qatar weekend, and we continue to watch the battle of energy drinks between Red Bull and Monster. Owen and Drugovich, however, combined for 3 wins this year, as Russell has delivered 1 for Mercedes. We've seen lots of chaos here before, so I think if we are to see a new winner, this is the weekend for it. I strongly believe Alex Albon will turn his season around this weekend.
Welcome back to another episode of our F1 23 driver career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. You might see the length of the video. I think this might be like the longest video we've done in the career mode, but for good reason. You just have to stay tuned here now as we roll through into the Qatar race weekend here to finish off the very quick Middle Eastern swing of the calendar after last episode in Bahrain, where obviously things went pretty well for us there in Bahrain, picking up the victory. I was pretty happy about that, and we had no, silly season news, no roster news coming out early on in this season, but what we did have coming out this season in this Bahrain weekend, as you see the practice there, the standings, is we would announce our combination with High Tech with the Formula 2 team going into Season 7 of the career mode, and the livery would be revealed. That's what we'll be running next season, or seeing next season on the track in Formula 2, and the team will be renamed High Tech Owen GP or Grand Prix, which I'm very excited for. A huge shout out again to Fike, who made the McLaren Toyota mod and the Honda Sport mod as well that you've been seeing on track here this season. Massive shout out to him as he was able to allow me to bring the Formula 2 ownership idea to life. So we will be co-owning that team next season with the announcement this weekend, and of course it has Red Bull driver relations, so it works out for us, which also tells you we're probably going to be expanding or extending our contract with Red Bull at the season's end here now, as things continue to go very well with this team. And speaking of going well, qualifying so far, Q2, you can see the order: Lawson, Gasly, Vips, Mayer, and Doohan out in Q2, which sets us up here for Q number 3 in Qatar, which Qatar never the greatest for me when it comes to, qualifying, but I mean, I feel like we say that all the time, but we roll into the race and we'll have a lot of speed there now. Qatar has been an up and down Grand Prix for us in the past. We've won here before in a photo finish with Oscar Piastri, but as well, we've had quite a few retirements here. I think we've had 2 DNFs at this circuit, and none due to crashes, only due to mechanical failures. To the line here, what can we put on the board? It's going to be only P8, and I could not improve. I did try to go for a second lap, but it wasn't enough. Aiden Jackson, Russell, Norris, Albon in 4th after what's been a disastrous start to the season for him. Can he finally bounce back here today? Let's find out and head to the grid for some Sunday night racing under the lights here in the Qatar Grand Prix.
We're under the lights once again here in Qatar. Last year we took a year off due to a small footballing tournament that was being hosted, but it's all excitement on the track now. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Aiden Jackson lines up on pole position, and starting next to them is George Russell. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Albon, Verstappen, Drugovich, Hamilton, Golden Boy, Leclerc, Oscar Piastri, Doohan, Mayer, Yuri Vips, Norris, Gasly, Liam Lawson, Joe, Ocon, Vesti, Sato, and Yuki Tsunoda. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today.
Alex, it's been an awful start to the year. Is tonight the night you bounce back?
I hope so. It's been awful so far, and we need to turn it around quickly.
All right, good luck tonight, Alex.
And there you hear Natalie Pinkham with Alex Albon here. We're up P7 due to a grid penalty that you saw there. And for us, it's going to be softs to mediums, so pretty straightforward as we get ready to roll. Formation lap underway here from Qatar.
The formation lap gets underway then, and it's going to be interesting today to see how the dry conditions could affect the lifespan of the tyres.
everybody on softs. Lando Norris with that grid penalty there down in 13th. He'll have some work to do going forward. Jackson, Russell, Albon now the top 3 as we're ready to roll here from Qatar.
We're almost ready to start the race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
Okay, let's get after it on lap 1. A long run into turn 1 can gain us some spots here.
Yep, 10-4. I'll get after it here, good lights out, and just see what we can do. It has been a really good season so far. 4 races complete, of course, 2 victories, 2 non-podiums. It's kind of been hit or miss on the pace. There's a lot of, parities so far in the first 4 races, but the one thing that's remained the same is Red Bull's won 3, Mercedes with George Russell has won 1 of the races. So the battle of the energy drinks rages on again into Qatar, but can McLaren Toyota bring the fight here tonight? Now, we're going to find out. It's lights out. We're racing here in Qatar now as we get a better start than both the Ferraris. Dragovic a bit slow after a good launch. He's stuck behind the pair of McLarens. Russell leads away into turn 1. Jackson, Albon side by side, wheel to wheel. Who's going to come out on top of that battle? It's Jackson. I'm wheel to wheel with Lewis Hamilton here. A bit of a close call with Verstappen. That caused me to bank out of the throttle, and that allowed Hamilton to go up my inside as we head down towards that double right-hander. The future of both Hamilton and Verstappen with Ferrari and their careers in Formula 1 has increasingly become a topic of interest. I just made a move up the inside of Hamilton there into the hairpin. Not enough there. Hamilton stays ahead here on the run towards the right-hander. So once again, we're going to have to keep a close eye on Hamilton and Verstappen. I would not be surprised if we see both of them off the grid next season for 2 different reasons. Hamilton old and retiring, while Verstappen leaving Formula 1 potentially just to go explore other racing interests that he's continuously mentioned. So it would be a big shock, and I would really be interested to see, even if one of them leaves Ferrari, it's going to open some doors, and we've always been hearing about Mayer as a potential prospect for Ferrari, which would be really cool to see. But if both drivers leave, who would the second prospect be at Ferrari? McLaren, I don't think, would want to let any of their drivers go. Maybe Aiden Jackson. Jackson's been winless now for over a season. Can he finally rebound here today? He runs second right now to George Russell. Could maybe Ferrari try to steal one of those Mercedes drivers? I don't think they're going to try and steal me. I'm pretty content with Red Bull, especially when we are running as good as we are. But we focus back in on the actual racing here, and we haven't made any progress since lap 1. We're P7, lap 4. But my car is starting to get going now. Dragovic at the lead of this little train, and then it's the 3-car breakaway. So right now our Red Bull Ford just doesn't quite have enough for those top 3 cars with the Mercedes and the McLaren. Lando Norris with the grid penalties been working his way forward. He's gotten to the back of one of the Connor Sports. It appears that one of the Connor Sport cars as well has gotten some potential wing damage because they are holding up everybody. And that was Mayer. As you can see now, Jackson going for a move up the inside of George Russell for the lead on lap 7. Russell stays ahead here. Now, how long can he hang on? It's going to be short-lived because another lap later, come to lap 8 now. Here comes Albon putting pressure. It's going to be 3 wide for the lead down towards turn 1. Albon up the inside, Russell middle as well. Jackson around the outside. Shades of the NASCAR Cup Series race at Atlanta in the finish between Daniel Suarez, Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney. 3 wide across the line. The only difference is this lap 8 here as they continue on. Jackson out in front, but Russell stayed ahead of Albon, and now I'm putting some pressure here on Lewis Hamilton, and I want to get on with it a little bit. I'm going to go up the inside again. We tried to make a pass on him in the hairpin on lap number 1, and we were unsuccessful. However, this time we might get success here as we're going to try and keep it pinned around the outside here now of Hamilton, and he's going to fight back, but it's not enough, and up the position we go into P6. Next up, Max Verstappen, who's trying to put some pressure on our Red Bull teammate of Felipe Dragovic. Jackson out front trying to run away, and here we go through to second, Alex Albon, and it's now a McLaren Toyota 1-2 here as Russell drops to third. The Mercedes pace kind of dwindling here as these laps go on as we slowly approach the pit stop cycle here in Qatar, as Dragovic in the Red Bull just doesn't quite have enough to get up there in the mix. Our car in general just doesn't quite have enough, but we're closing in on the cars in front. Verstappen now only about 1.0 seconds ahead, so we're almost within DRS range now, but it's not going to matter. The engine has failed for the first time this season. I love it. It's gone. I just love everything. I mean, this track, every time we come here, man.
All right, pull over. That's night over. Sorry, mate.
So our race is over on just lap 9. That's going to be our first mechanical failure of the season and the second Qatar Grand Prix failure in a row. Thankfully, we avoid controversy this time and we don't take out Max Verstappen and cause a safety car in the process there. But unfortunate, and now you know why it's why it's a long episode, because we got 2 Grand Prix because we only made it to lap 9. McLaren is celebrating here. Is it Albon who maybe got the win, or did Jackson hang on to get the win? That's the big question, and the answer is Aiden Jackson. Jackson breaks a season-long winless streak here under the lights, and look at Lando Norris is on the podium. Albon's nowhere to be seen, and Lando Norris went from 13th to a podium finish alongside his teammate of George Russell, and the reason being Albon had a mechanical failure as well. So Albon's horrendous season continues here in Qatar, as he now basically is going into the next race in Mexico with his best finish still being only P9. And I can tell you what, Albon, I mean, he's still showing the pace. It's just there's no luck there. I mean, you look at the Dutch Grand Prix last episode, what bit him there was, Russell locking up on his inside, causing him some wing damage. Hamilton beats Verstappen there at the end of the night. But yeah, myself and Albon at the bottom, 2 mechanical failures there. So let's take a look at the standings now. This is the first non-win from a Mercedes or Red Bull car, but Drugovich is at the top by 1 point over Russell, 2 points over Jackson, 6 points over me, while Red Bull has a 7-point advantage over Mercedes. We'll take a closer look at the standings at the end of the episode, because now we're going to shift into the next race in Mexico. I'm not going to leave you guys hanging on 11 minutes of content here after a couple days away. We're going to jump straight into the next race here, and there's Christian Horner actually jumping down beside us there, having a quick chat as we were rolling into qualifying. We're going to jump straight into quali, and it was raining in Q1 here. We were on the intermediate, so it started in heavy wet conditions. Everybody had made a lap except for myself on wet tires, and now everybody was hustling to get a lap in ready at the end of the session on inters, except for 2 drivers, one of the Andretti cars and one of the Mercedes. We're going to find out who it is here now, but that's going to really hurt them because everybody's going faster on the inters. Lando Norris is going to be the one that stayed on the wets and didn't make a lap, so he's going to end up P19 while Lawson ends up 20th. And actually, maybe they did do a lap on inters because it shows them on inters, so maybe they did one earlier before the track got a little bit better of a condition. So now Q2, we had a similar situation. It was raining at the beginning of Q2, and it was dry at the end. So I'm going to get through to the top of the board, but another Mercedes had not been quick enough. It was George Russell this time, and now both Mercedes are out, and apparently Russell was on inters the whole time. So, or at least when he ran his fastest lap, somehow he didn't go quicker, maybe invalidated his lap on softs. And he's going to start P15 in Mexico. So just after the solid double podium performance, both Mercedes and Qatar, well, now they're out in Q1 and Q2. A huge opportunity for us. I mean, that should be mentioned here. So Q3, my Sector 2 was a complete disaster, so it was a write-off of a lap, but we still went P9. So we were looking for the pace in lap 2. Last season, we were pole here in Mexico. We've got a way around this circuit now. I really enjoy driving this track, and we're trying to get our first pole of the season. This is where the big gains are coming here. 1/10, 2/10, and it would be up to 6/10 of a second gain as we head towards the end of Sector 2, and that's a purple Sector 2. That's going to unlock the opportunity to go pole here. Now we're 3/10 up on the car that we're being compared to, which is Oscar Piastri now, which makes me feel pretty confident through this final section now, through the stadium there, and then through the right-hander. It gave up a little bit of time, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think it's going to be enough out of the final turn, and it is going to be pole position.
Okay, good job, mate. Really, really well done. That was a fantastic drive. Bring it home.
I'm not going to get excited. Last time we were on pole in Mexico, we know how it went last season. It was a disaster at the end of that race, and I don't even remember where we finished. It wasn't good. Our teammate of Drugovich goes P6. Albon, Jackson lining up second and third. Jackson just broke that winless streak. Albon looks for some success for the first time this season. Let's head to the grid.
Bienvenidos to the most populous city in North America. The legendary Jim Clark won the first official F1 race back in 1963 here, and we've had a veritable who's who of winners ever since. It's Mexico City, and therefore the Mexico City Grand Prix. We're a long way above sea level here in Mexico today, which could pose some cooling issues for the cars as they make their way around this 2.6-mile lap. 17 corners with top speeds in excess of 220 miles per hour, and watch out for potential overtaking into turns 1 and 4. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Golden Boy lines up on pole position, just edging out Alex Albon, who'll start from P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Jackson, Verstappen, Hamilton, Drugovich, Oscar Piastri, Doohan, Leclerc, Mayer, Gasly, Yuri Vips, Vesti, Joe, Russell, Sato, Tsunoda, Ocon, Norris, and Liam Lawson. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. A warm welcome to Anthony Davidson, who's beside me in the commentary box today. We should talk about Williams. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
We have a heck of an episode still going here now, as we're going to be starting again on the softs. There's no weather on the way. It's starting overcast, but it's going to get sunny, so no threat of rain like we saw early in qualifying. Softs to mediums, easy strategy. Let's get ready.
Here we go then. The formation lap is underway and the track temperature looks warm. That may or may not play into some of the team's hands in today's race.
Albon electing to go on to mediums and others towards the bottom of the grid as well.
As the cars come back towards the grid to line up for the start of the race, each driver will be wanting to get the best start they possibly can, and they'll be hoping to finish today's race on the podium, and failing that, within the points.
Alright guys, we had a mechanical issue there in Qatar, but we're still in the mix. Let's just keep our heads on and, keep it up.
Yeah, we got the speed. Starting pole today. Let's take care of it.
So we are ready now to go racing. We line up on the grid. Alex Albon on mediums. We are pretty well in the worst position possible. You don't want to be really starting P1 here or on the front row necessarily in Mexico with such a long run. Down towards turn 1, third place is going to be able to slipstream us. If we get clear of Albon, he's going to be able to pull in line and slipstream us as well, so second really isn't that bad. P1, not where you want to be. A pair of McLarens, a pair of Ferraris between myself and my teammate Drugovich now. We're lights out racing from the Mexico Grand Prix. It's a horrendous start from Verstappen in the background as well for Aiden Jackson, the defending now race winner from Qatar in the same episode as today. We roll towards turn 1. Look at this already. Everybody's just absolutely swarming us. We might have been briefly 4 wide. I lunge it into turn 1 and we make it stick. Albon maintains P2. Drugovich into third place. How about that start there from 6th to 3rd? There's an Andretti Global machine as well in the mix as we head down towards the end of sector 1. And there you can see Aiden Jackson settling in the 2 Tricoast machines of Leclerc as well as Piastri and Verstappen all the way down the order there. That's Pierre Gasly and the Andretti that was able to make up a lot of ground. We know he's probably gonna, go backwards, unfortunately, as this race progresses. The Connor Sport's in the background as well. Connor Sport, it's such a unfortunate team to watch because they've got so much potential, but they've had a lot of bad luck this season here. As you see the 2 Mercedes trying to move forward as they had horrendous qualifying efforts, a disaster for them. The battle is on already with Alex Albon. He's on those mediums, but my goodness, he's bringing the fight to us near contact here towards the end of the stadium section now as we go through this final turn. I just want to at least lead the first lap here in Mexico, and we fortunately will do exactly that, but the lead actually might be a bit short-lived. Here comes Alex Albon again, but hold on as well. Here comes Drugovich. Has he got enough of a run? I think the answer might be no. Here he goes to the left side, and here comes Hamilton as well. He's going to maybe show the nose. I'm going to lunge it in just like I did on lap 1. We sail it off into into turn 1 and it sticks again. Got very lucky on both attempts there, and it's worked back to the lead, but DRS is going to get enabled here on lap 3, and now that's when things are going to get tricky. Not on lap 3 specifically, but lap 4. Down the front straightaway, Drugovich still runs P3, Albon P2, and he's going to get up the inside again. I mean, just look at the pace out of that McLaren Toyota. He parks the bus on the apex and stays in front of me this time, and now he has DRS again to drive away. It's crucial to either stay with him or work with my teammate of Drugovich, or just basically try to drive away from Albon, because he's going to be looking pretty good if he can hang on these mediums, you know, with me to the pit stop. So we're not done with him putting the fight, but we lock up on the right front wheel there. We got some grass on it there. You saw me go off track, and that would end at the end, of course, cause me to lose a position. So Drugovich goes through now into P2 on lap 5, all on my own there. That was just simply my mistake, and these two would start to drive away from me, which was surprising me a bit, and they would actually start to fight. So Drugovich, he's kind of taken over the Red Bull fight here for the day, up front anyways here now, and he's going to try and get this lead, and he will be successful, but their battle brings me right back into the mix, thank goodness. But you can see they're able to maintain and actually start to open up a slight gap once again here on the next little bit on lap 7, so I was really finding it tricky to maintain with them in these first handful of laps once Drugovich was able to pass me after I'd made that error getting my right front wheel on that grass. I mean, look at them driving away again, but the battle is not over, and this is what's keeping me in the mix here, is these two going at it into turn 1, but Albon actually clear of Drugovich before they even get to the apex, so he's able to cruise right on by and settle in here. Now that McLaren Toyota is really quick today, now lap 8 at this point, and he's pulling away from Felipe Drugovich, who's sideways and spinning. Drugovich, the Brazilian, the two-time Grand Prix winner's gone around here, and could that bring out a safety car? He's out of the way, but I don't know. Let's wait and see. You see me making abrupt changes just in case, but the safety car right there deployed, but it's too late. I couldn't turn in the cone, the commitment cone we had already passed right there when it came out. So Drugovich and others are going to box. Lando Norris is in, and actually I think he was getting a new wing, but Drugovich is in, Norris is in immediately as the safety car came out, and at the end of the first lap, myself, Lewis Hamilton, and a few others are going to pit, but a bunch of cars are going to stay out. It's pretty split. This is going to create a big shakeup on the grid. We're going to put mediums on. Originally I was going to do hards, and now we're being held. I was wondering why. It's because Verstappen's coming in, and I never noticed, so we were stuck behind him because he couldn't come into the box. So now, after that, Drugovich is ahead of me, but he's on softs, and so is Lando Norris. So those two are going to have to pit again, and Hamilton and myself on mediums, it's a mess. We're going back racing with Albon leading, and as we return to the green flag racing, Jackson is actually into the pits with Liam Lawson, so they decide we're going to just come into the pits when we're going back green. So there's a whole lot of confusion going on. We're P13 on the run towards turn 1. George Russell just behind me on some soft tires as well here as we go down towards this corner, and he's got the axle on us, but we're dead even on the run towards the corner, and we'll get back out in front of him here now through turns 2 and 3. Albon leads, but there's going to be so much confusion because half the field pitted, half the field stayed out, and look what it creates, this big cluster of cars. You have the fast cars, the Ferraris, the Trackhouse, the Red Bull, the Mercedes, and even the Conesport trying to work their way around, you know, the slower teams of Williams, Lamborghini, as well as BMW, just a couple cars that are right here in the mix. I mean, look at this mess right here. Drugovich is locking up. He has had an absolute disaster so far. I'm up the inside now of Hamilton, trying to go around the outside of him here through turn, 3 that is. I mean, an absolute mess. Everything is right here, and it's just about being patient at this point now. And you can see myself actually catching Leclerc in the Trackhouse a little bit off guard. We'll go around the outside here in the double right-hander, and that'll move us into P11 at least, and we're kind of letting Drugovich kind of guide the show for us here, but Leclerc tries to fight back at me here and towards the stadium, and Drugovich is really having a hard time making the overtake on the BMW of Esteban Ocon. As you guys know, Ocon doesn't make it easy for anybody, but he would get past him, and I would try to follow through here as well on the run towards turn number 1. Look at the track map. Alex Albon, I'm starting to wonder if he made a better call than I did. I think staying out might have been the right call, because look at this, a lap later, he is driving away from everybody that's in this massive fight in this Hornet's Nest. Now into turn 1, Drugovich gets 2 for 1 on Gasly as well as Zhou in the Andretti and Williams Lamborghini. We go around the outside of Zhou Guanyu. Gasly's next, but it wouldn't be till the next DRS zone when we got the opportunity to actually overtake him in towards the stadium. Marino Sato now under pressure from Drugovich in front of us here now, but he couldn't quite pass the Lotus rookie. You got a pair of Lotus cars right here in front of us with Sato as well as Yuri Vips here now towards, not towards turn 1 but towards turn 4. This is when Drugovich's opportunity to pass them both. Contact there between Drugovich and Vips. Now the 2 Lotus machines and the 2 Red Bulls scrap it out here now 2 by 2, 2 rows deep. We are able to pass the rookie of Sato, and now another rookie of Vips is up next, and that would come towards the stadium section once again here now to the left side with the DRS. Drugovich up to 5th. We're going to get up to P6, but my goodness, that safety car is really shaking things up here, and look how far out in front Albon is. In second place right now is Lando Norris, so his teammate of Russell is behind us by a few spots, and Norris, I mean, has worked his way through traffic better than anybody after starting at the very back of the grid here now as we make the pass on Vesti. And here's Drugovich now at the inside for the overtake on Cali Mare, and he'll move into a podium position with this move. And we've just been following Drugovich through all of this, so I mean, we are doing an okay job. But now look at Albon, he's already on the run about halfway down the front straightaway about right now. Norris crossing the line. I mean, Albon I think is one out by staying out, and I really wish we would have done that now. I think if we would have stayed out, we'd be in a way better chance to win this Grand Prix. We do not plan to pit, but the thing is, once Albon pits, you know, he's going to be still close enough to us that he can just pass us on fresher tires, as I get a bit of a warning right there for track limits. Drugovich and his battle with Cali Mare continues here. Mare has, of course, shown in previous races, I mean, in her whole career so far, she's not going to back down from a fight, no matter, you know, how, not good her car is compared to the others. And here we go, opportunity to get up the inside here of Cali Mare. She's going to turn in on us, and she's turned us into the inside wall, nearly damaged done to the cars. We have to back up onto the track, but she was trying to pit, and she had no care in the world that I was on the inside, and completely has taken us out as we have to pit to get a new front wing immediately. Are you kidding me, dude? I mean, every time we come here too, I swear to God.
Focus in here. She didn't see you on the inside. Just focus. A lot of cars still need to box.
Last season, it would have been a way different reaction, a way different response. I mean, this season, we've kind of calmed down and understood the situation long term, fighting for a championship. Alex Albon's pitting now at the end of the next lap, so we're on our own right here. We had to spend a few extra seconds, you know, replacing the front wing, and absolute mess of a Grand Prix. I mean, we knew something was going to happen with everybody in the parity there, and the big cluster of cars. So we're trying to work our way forward. But Mark told us a lot of cars still have to pit, so Albon's made his pit stop. He's way ahead of me. Lando Norris is now pitting as well. This is now the race. It's somehow it's worked out this way. Lando Norris has a shot to win here today after starting at the very back of the grid. And this is Albon passing him right now, so Norris is going to come out to behind Piastri, who's still got a pit as well, and Hamilton's going to pit again. And now Jackson's in, Doohan's in, Marino Sato, all of these guys. The Ferrari of Verstappen as well has just come out of the pits now. So we are P14, but there's still some cars right here in front of us that are going to cause a bit of a stack up now. Felipe Drugovich as well had already made his final pit stop, so he's just up there in front of us. So we go up the inside here of Yuki Tsunoda in the BMW. We'll make the overtake into P13. Our race is not over by any means. Is our race over in terms of fighting for a win? Absolutely, we have choked. I mean, an absolute disaster with the safety car and the response and the pit stops. I got it wrong. It was my idea to pit under the safety car. I got it totally wrong. McLaren got it right with keeping Albon out. But I mean, I think Norris has proven, though, that you could still fight for the win if you had pitted under the safety car. So, long story short, the problem is the guy behind the wheel, and that was me. I should have drove better, and maybe as well not gotten wrecked by Cali Mare. But we'll go up the inside of Verstappen. We'll pass him for P7. Leclerc, Drugovich just ahead here now, but the Verstappen battle is not over. Verstappen is absolutely flying. He's going to go by on the inside. Look at the speed out of the Ferrari there now as he continues on. We drop back down to P8, but we're both running down Charles Leclerc, and Verstappen would be able to pass the Leclerc in the next lap lap with the DRS, and then I'm going to get a bit aggressive here, go up the inside, a sneaky move as we continue to try and stick with the Ferrari, the Dutchman, as we move through into P7, but now it's time to go through the grid in the closing 10 laps.
Alex Albon in front again as he seeks a finish better than 9th. Is there still time for him to recover in the title battle?
I think so. We have 23 races this year and still nearly 20 to go. He is not out of this by any means.
We have Red Bull team principal on the wall with us today. Christian Horner, do you got us down there?
Yeah, I've got you guys.
Christian, I wanted to ask you about your driver, Gary Owen. He's ventured into ownership within a Formula 2 team. What can you say about that, as there's not much info to go off of right now?
Yeah, so he's now part owner of High Tech Grand Prix. We ourselves work closely with them. Our junior drivers often drive their cars and will continue to do that. So Gary will be a part of the developmental process, having insights and financial impacts on the team. As well, he has enough ownership to be involved in the livery as well.
All right, thanks, Christian. We see Oscar Piastri running 15th right now as he tries to move back through the grid.
Joe and Gasly just behind with Ocon Lawson and Tsunoda all trailing at the bottom of the grid.
Another rough day for Tsunoda, as it's been a rough season for the Japanese driver at BMW.
Yuki Tsunoda all the way behind in 20th, 13 seconds back here. Now we cut to lap 29 and Verstappen has run down Drugovich. He's currently the quickest driver on track. Maybe some contact there with the Brazilian. Thank you, my teammate Felipe, because it brings me right back into the mix here for not only Verstappen but for Drugovich as well. Verstappen is absolutely flying. In front of them both is Kelly Mayer, as you can see here right now, and running in 3rd position. Hamilton, Aiden Jackson as well just behind, but the battle for the lead is heating up as well. Norris is all over the back of Alex Albon here, but you can see those two in front of me would actually extend the gap again here now in these first few moments of lap 30, and now a lap later, lap 31. How hard is Albon gonna fight it? He knows he needs points, but he doesn't need to be desperate here for the win. He desperately needs at least a 2nd place result, and you can see he's going to be pretty reserved right here. Lando Norris looking for his first win on the season, and it might be coming today. To the lead, the Mercedes from the back of the grid. What a drive it would be. What a dramatic fashion it would be to get your first win. As you can see, both Drugovich and Verstappen were able to pass Kelly Mayer, so now we as well, lap 31, are going to go past their yellow flags, and it's the Ferrari right in front of us. It's Max Verstappen, who's got some kind of mechanical failure. Day over for the Dutchman.
I hate this man. What a joke this team is. Why did I ever come here?
You hear Verstappen's reaction on the radio. If that isn't telling of maybe what his future with the team looks like, I don't know what is, but that's pretty telling to me as we focus in on ourselves. 4th place, Verstappen was going to go past Drugovich. He was going to continue down the road and get 3rd. Not the situation no more. Hamilton's going to beat him today. Kelly Mayer continues to drop down the order. Aiden Jackson to 6th. Russell up to 7th. Mayer down to 8th. Our teammate of Doohan in P10. Currently in these closing laps, we are slowly reeling in Drugovich, so a podium is still in the cards. I mean, who would have thought that it would be Drugovich beating me at the end of this Grand Prix after he was the one that spun, brought out the safety car, but all the chaos has allowed him into this position. Coming to the final lap, which is now underway, and Lando Norris is in total control here today in Mexico. Now, he got the win, of course, last season in Japan, late in the season, and now he's looking to start this season out early in the first handful of rounds to get a win now in round number 6, which would allow that energy drink battle between Red Bull and Mercedes to continue. We are closing in on Drugovich, but just not close enough. Lando Norris, though, gets the job done in Mexico.
Let's go, guys. Yeah, let's keep this momentum going.
You hear Norris celebrate as Albon finally gets a top 5 P2. As the battle rages on, though, between Drugovich and myself, it's maybe not over yet if he makes a slip-up. Jackson was able to pass Hamilton, moving to 5th, and he's already run down myself and Drugovich. He's been flying. 1 corner to go. What can we do? Drugovich to the left. We're going to get the grip. Here we go. To the right, it's going to be a drag race to the line, and it's going to be for the podium. Unfortunately, not us. It's going to be Felipe Drugovich getting the final spot on the podium, as Jackson's going to give him a bump draft there across the line. P4, rightfully so. Lando Norris, yes, driver of the day. From the back, to the front in Mexico. What a Grand Prix here as he celebrates there on the podium now. But Alex Albon, Felipe Drugovich up there as well. I mean, we were so close. Another, 100 feet, we could have maybe gotten him for third, but it is what it is. Still a decent rebound for the situation that we found ourselves in here. Now, Doohan actually passed Mayer, who jumped all the way down to P10. Piastri was able to get past her as well. Leclerc misses out on points. Yuri Vips actually had a mechanical failure at some point. I don't even remember that happening. There was so much chaos. But look at this. Drugovich ahead now by 2 points over Norris, 7 over Jackson, 9 over myself, 10 over Russell. Things are so close. And I mean, if Albon can get going, he could join the party as the Red Bull Mercedes energy drink battle continues. 3 points separate both teams. Next episode, Monaco. I'll see you guys then for a one-of-a-kind Grand Prix.